Okay, let's dive right into it. Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're literally just trying to keep your head above water? Like you are constantly being bombarded by information and distractions from the second you wake up? Well, today, we are completely transforming how we deal with the modern world. We're taking this really fascinating journey, moving from simply surviving our daily grinds to truly mastering our minds. We are going to explore some incredibly profound concepts hidden right inside our source material to figure out exactly how we can harness mindfulness and finally reclaim our mental space. And right off the bat, the source material highlights this truly profound revelation. It says there is a reason why certain revelations focus specifically on the command of stillness amidst a world of relentless noise. I mean, wow, right? That perfectly captures our everyday pain point. Relentless noise. It's absolutely everywhere. It's our phones buzzing, our overflowing inboxes, the 24/7 news cycle, just constant demands on our attention. But look at that deliberate phrasing from the text, the command of stillness. It's not just sitting around hoping for a quiet room. It is about actively taking charge and focusing on the revelations that can actually cut through that static. Which brings us to a pretty stark contrast, merely surviving versus mastering intentional reclamation. When you are just surviving, you're passively absorbing all that relentless noise we just talked about. You're just letting it wash completely over you, letting it dictate your mood, your focus, everything. But mastering intentional reclamation, that is highly active. It's this mindful, deliberate stance where you plant your feet and say, no, I am taking my mental real estate back. It's literally the difference between being tossed around by massive waves and actually grabbing the wheel and steering the ship.
So what does this term actually mean in practice? Well, as the text outlines, intentional reclamation is the active shift beyond survival to command stillness and instantly recalibrate an overwhelmed mind. Let that sink in for a second. It is an active shift. I really want to emphasize this because it's so easy to misunderstand mindfulness as just, closing your eyes and spacing out for a bit. That is definitely not what this is. This isn't a passive retreat from the world. It's a powerful, deliberate command over your own mental space, designed specifically to rescue a brain that's stuck in overdrive.
But how do we actually pull this off? Well, our source text points us to a very specific framework. The secret lies in what the text calls the 5 verses. Now, these aren't just some nice poetic philosophy. They actually function as highly specific psychological prompts designed to disrupt our anxiety loops. The author notes that a lot of people completely overlook the profound psychological depth hidden inside these verses. They just dismiss them as too simple. But the text argues that these 5 verses hold the exact tools we absolutely need to hit the reset button on our overloaded brains.
So we're going to treat the rest of this explainer like a masterclass. We've taken the core insights from those 5 verses and translated them into a highly practical 5-step mindfulness tutorial. Think of this as your personal roadmap. If you want to actually achieve intentional reclamation and command that stillness we've been talking about, these are the exact steps you need to follow to build a truly resilient mental framework.
Let's break down the first part of our tutorial, steps 1 and 2, confronting noise and seeking revelations. Look, before we can master anything, we first have to acknowledge the reality of what we're dealing with. So, step 1 is recognizing the relentless noise surrounding us. You can't fix what you refuse to see, right? We have to confront how distracting our world actually is. Once we do that, step 2 is to intentionally shift our focus to seek out revelations. In practice, seeking a revelation might be as simple as just pausing for a few seconds before you reply to a highly frustrating email. You're choosing a brief moment of clarity over a knee-jerk reaction. It's about finding those specific insights mentioned in the text that cut right through the daily static.
And that brings us to the absolute core of the whole practice. Step 3, the command of stillness. Why does the text say people overlook this? Because stillness here isn't just an absence of sound. It is a structural command of your attention. When you command stillness, you're tapping into a seriously profound psychological layer. You are literally telling your brain to pause its automated panic responses. Actually, scratch that. It's more like you're asserting complete authority over your internal environment. You are remaining grounded no matter what kind of chaos is swirling around you on the outside.
Once you've commanded that stillness and tapped into that psychological depth, you unlock the final pieces of the puzzle. Step 4 allows you to instantly recalibrate an overwhelmed mind. Think of it like a hard reset for a frozen laptop. Suddenly, the spinning wheel stops and the fog just lifts. And that leads directly into step 5. By making this recalibration a habit, you move completely beyond mere survival mode. You finally master the art of intentional reclamation. You aren't just enduring your day anymore.
You are actively governing your attention, your energy, and ultimately, your entire life.
So let's wrap this up with a direct challenge to you. What will you intentionally reclaim today? We've gone through the steps. We've decoded the source material into a practical, step-by-step tutorial. Now it's all about application. Are you going to reclaim your morning routine before you even glance at your phone? Are you going to reclaim your focus during a conversation with a loved one? Or maybe you'll just reclaim 10 minutes of absolute peace away from the relentless noise. Whatever it is, apply this tutorial to your life right now. It's time to stop just surviving and start mastering your mind. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this helps you find your stillness.